I love all the show lovers telling us the kiss was chaste and innocent and we're the weird ones. I never kissed my father-in-law on the lips, like ever. And as I was saying before, there is just the way the shot is framed. There is clearly romantic music that swells up, and he lingers on the kiss for quite a long time. I wish I would have timed it. And it's funny too, because in a couple streams back, I was looking at an article from Fandom Wire. It was the episode where Elrond and Galadriel were sniping at each other. They were like arguing the entire time. They were trying to get to Eregion. That was the one with the Barrow-wights, and Elrond and Galadriel were fighting the whole time. And I remember a Fandom Wire review saying how they interpreted them fighting as romantic tension. And I was just laughing it off. I was just like, no way. Clearly they don't know the lore. They don't know. They're just like trying to read something into it because this is the marketing that they want. They're just shipping everyone left and right. But clearly they're onto something. This is the audience that they're trying to make the show for, I guess. The ones that could see some romantic tension when they were fighting, this is for them. So congratulations. I was laughing at it. I was laughing at that. How can you interpret it that way? But lo and behold, here we go. Fortunately, I've never watched Rings of Power. My sanity is intact. And a lot of people are abandoning this show because at the end of the day, this is one of the largest, if not the largest, fan base in the world. And they've long left. If there were any still around, probably not anymore after this. This is antagonistic at this point. This is willful intent. Payne and McKay know the lore. They know very well who Galadriel and Elrond are to each other. They know that. This is willful intent. This is willful bastardization and antagonizing of the fan base. They did this on purpose. So if there was anyone left, I don't know. I think they're gone. That was not a peck on the lips. No, that was not a chaste or whatever innocent friend's kiss. Oh, it's funny. Even when they cut out and you see Galadriel's face after the kiss, even she was like surprised. She had a little bit of a surprised look on her face that just happened. She has this look of surprise. Oh, yeah, that just happened. My friend is into me. Yep. It felt so torturously long at 30 minutes. And I think that's when the kiss happens, was at the 30-minute mark. And then I'm like, how much left do we have of this episode? And it was another 40 minutes left. I was... It was literal torture, but I'm going to watch it. I'm interested, and this deserves to be roasted. You wanted the fans' attention. You got it. Serious question. Why is the Tolkien estate allowing this? I thought they greenlight the scripts. Yeah, they do. They okay it. This is fine to them. It's because Simon Tolkien apparently is responsible for the show, and he wants Sauron to be understood as Walter White, a good bad boy. Okay, yeah. And I mentioned this before, I've speculated that the only thing, like when they get the scripts, I think the only thing that the estate is looking for is to make sure that Amazon isn't using anything that they don't have the rights to, that they haven't paid for. So I think that's the only thing they're looking for. Clearly, integrity to the lore is not the priority. The fact that no one involved in this production raised any concern, the fact that so many numerous people saw the kiss, saw so much bastardizations left and right of Tolkien's works. You got a little bit of that taste of the Sauron Walter White thing with the conversation with Sauron and Celebrimbor once everything is out in the open. They have this one little conversation about how he was tortured by Morgoth and he just wants perfect peace or whatever, and this is, maybe that's what they were trying to do. I didn't get the Walter White stuff, but maybe that's what they were trying to do. They also said that the troll, Damrod, was a Mike Ehrmantraut-esque character, and I didn't get that at all. I don't understand. He was like a big waste in this episode with the troll. You can clearly see that they thought the troll, the introduction of the troll, was going to be like this epic thing, and it really fell flat to me. It was so underwhelming. Also, at the time when this is going on, with the big battle is going on, there's this weird sentiment going on with the orcs having this growing discontent against Adar, and especially the one orc that we know has a family. They keep cutting to that orc in particular, and he's getting more and more disgruntled as the battle is going on. He doesn't want to be there. He didn't want the troll to be let loose because the troll wasn't going to distinguish friend from foe. So he's like, well, oh, but if he's out there on the battlefield, we're going to lose orcs. And Adar's like, I don't care, we gotta win. And you can clearly see that he's increasingly discontented with Adar. So we can't even have a proper, like, battle scene. They could have just leaned into that. This is what people were probably the most hyped for, that they were trying to hype about this episode, was the Siege of Eregion. and you completely undercut yourself by having this weird sympathetic orc thing going on. You couldn't even enjoy it for like good versus evil battle, just for the action part of it. You had to ruin that too. The introduction of the troll was very underwhelming and a very poorly paced episode. We know 2 names of people living in the alleged jewel city of the elves. Why do they think we care for the city 2 going down? None of the setup for the Siege of Eregion makes any sense. And the elves, oh my goodness, the elf soldiers were so stupid. In particular, the one elf chick, a copy of Galadriel, man, they did her dirty in this episode, and I do not understand. We're supposed to be happy because of the treatment to the female characters, when I feel like it's the exact opposite. It bothers me that they want to prop this show up as something that women would like, or that they would appreciate specifically. How? When you treat the female characters as so mind-numbingly stupid at the whim of their emotions, at the whim of their hormones, they're just taken in by simple flattery and that can't use their brains. The way that the elf chick, Celebrimbor can remember her name, neither do I, she dies, and Sauron is involved, but it's made to look like Celebrimbor caused her death, but Sauron is the one that did it, that orchestrated it. She gets flung off the walls of the city and falls to a very crippling injury and just has a gruesome death with an orc to finish her off. Mayor Danya, thank you. And when that happened, I'm like, good lord, they really, what were they doing? Like, if anyone was going to have a gruesome death, I thought everyone thought it was going to be Celebrimbor. But also earlier in the scene, like, she takes Sauron's hand. What, was he like upset by that? How dare she like touch him and you not be Galadriel? Because it kind of came across as that. Like, I can't have Galadriel and you're just a cheap imitation, so I'm going to orchestrate a gruesome death for you. Man, that was weird. These characters are all unlikable. The nicest elf is Arondir, the made-up elf character. But even then, like, are people satisfied with how Arondir's been handled this season? We've hardly seen him. They killed off Bronwyn for some reason. I don't know why they couldn't have recast her. They recasted Adar. Why couldn't you have recast Bronwyn? That at least, the romance between Arondir and Bronwyn, I don't think it was as cringy as just what we're getting all of season 2 is just one cringe shipping thing after another. Like last episode, we had the extremely cringe moment between Poppy and the nameless store hobbit. It's a thing. They call him Nobody. And again, it just speaks to being extremely derivative, because I guess she's the female Sam, and as the female Sam, well, she's got to have her Rose in the situation. And the whole Harfoot storyline in the last episode is completely useless. It meant nothing. It added nothing. Just an excuse to be more derivative. They had this weird cringy kiss, and she said that he had lizard breath. It was weird. She's like, did you have lizard for lunch after the kiss? Every episode has to have this. That's why I was saying before that it feels like a little girl playing with her Barbie dolls. Like, who are we going to ship this week? And they were like, well, there's no one that would have been shipped in the latest episode. So they had to think of a way for someone to have a romantic moment with someone, and that had to be Galadriel and Elrond. And people actually liked if there was like some friendship at all going on. I think there was only the Elrond and Prince Durin friendship. But apart from that, there wasn't really that much. There was a little bit with Elrond and Galadriel having some sort of friendship storyline. But then it just got tense when they just kept sniping at each other once the rings were made, and they kept disagreeing about that. We just can't go an episode without someone being shipped. Their friendship wasn't enough. We had to make it weird.